Today's podcast is a companion to episode 206, The Garden Contained. We'll visit one of my favorite garden centers, Jonker's Gardens in Holland, Michigan, and visit with Dirk Jonker. I make arrangements from garden flowers. We visit my chiropractor, Dr. Adam, and arrange flowers with him too. I'll make a pineapple basil cocktail and several other fun garden crafts and share tips for container gardens today on Behind the Bloom with me and RJ Pohl. Local independent garden centers are the perfect spot to search out annual and perennial flowers, containers, and expert advice for your own garden. Perhaps you want to start your own cutting garden or find a selection of herbs you can use in cooking. There's so much to explore when it comes to container gardens and flowers you can grow. Visit your local independent garden center and burst into bloom. Cal Flowers is a proud sponsor of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom and Behind the Bloom podcast, where flowers and wellness go hand in hand.
All right, welcome back. Hey, Jay.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I know I always ask you how you are because I
Yes.
listen to the podcast and then I'm like, how are you? But I am very concerned because that's
Oh.
very important to me. I want to
Oh.
know how people are.
Well, Jay, I want to say one thing before we get started. You sent a note earlier just telling me how much you appreciate my outlines, and I just wanted to say that you are so kind and make people feel so appreciated. So I just wanted to thank you for doing that. There's a lot of times where I'm working on other projects where things are so fast-paced and people aren't appreciative and people just expect things to happen. When you take the time to send like a nice and kind and thoughtful email, it means so much to me. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, I hope, number one, it made me sad when you said that people aren't appreciative of you because you're
Oh.
wonderful.
Oh,
But also that it's not hard.
yes, I agree.
You know, I mean, and I think because there's so many times in my day where I'm like, I'm gonna pick up the phone, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna call this person, and just say, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Or, what's up? Thank you, whatever that may be. And I think that it's interesting because I mean, I grew up in the age where you would hold the door for people.
Right. Mhm.
And that was what my dad taught me to do.
Mhm.
And I've noticed even today that when you do that in today's days,
Mhm.
today, the
Right.
present, when you open a door for people, they're kind of shocked sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
They're like, oh, well, thank you. When we were at the home show, there were little old ladies there. You know, I was just
Mhm.
talking to them, making sure they were all okay and everything.
Aw.
Give them all together.
Yeah.
You know, but they're just like, you're so kind.
Oh.
It is. That's a very kind thing. I did say on the A list when I was on there with my friend in Chattanooga, Allison, that she said, you know, what do you want people to remember about you? And I said, I would hope that they remember I was kind.
Yeah.
It shouldn't differentiate me,
Right. I know everybody should be as kind,
but
but you do leave an impression on people with how kind you are, Jay. I feel like every interaction you leave people walking away being like, oh, what a nice man. And he is so caring and thoughtful.
at least they're not saying he's crazy.
No.
That man is crazy. But yeah, I think that's just an important. It's a big deal. And I think it came from my, like, Dorothy, the lady I grew up with and stuff. It certainly did not come from my mother.
Oh,
My mother was not a kind person.
no.
She was a lot of things, but she was not kind. And it was all about her, you know. But I think that my dad did instill politeness in me, and I believe that politeness is also part of being kind.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think that that's good too. So, well, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Oh,
But
thanks.
RJ writes all these scripts for these shows. And the thing
Oh.
I love about it is that I would tell you different stories that may not interest you or our wonderful viewers, but you ask questions that I wouldn't even have thought of.
Oh.
So
Oh.
that's what I love. That's really what I love. And so all of you who enjoy Life in Bloom and enjoy Behind the Bloom with me and RJ, the reason this podcast is good is because RJ does a great job.
Oh, you're
that's
so
good.
so
That's
kind,
good.
Jay.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Sam. And Sam
Yes,
edits
Sam.
us. And Sam. You worked with her this week.
I did, yes, yeah.
I know, that's awesome.
We were on set together. It was fun. I've known her forever, and we don't cross paths that often in the workplace, and we were both working on the same job, so that was
Oh,
fun.
wow. Oh, that's
Yeah,
very fun.
yeah,
Was it on her birthday?
It was, yeah. Yes.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
fun. Did they
yeah.
bring her a cake or anything? Did they do anything special for her?
No, unfortunately not. I know. It was a little one-day thing. I know.
I would still be aware. Hey,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
someone's birthday. We're going to celebrate for half a
I
second.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
so.
wished her a happy birthday,
Oh,
but
that's good. Good.
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good, good, good.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Well, should we start with a tip?
Absolutely. This one is the companion episode or the companion podcast episode 206, The Garden Contained. I wanted to talk about having some intention as you go forward so that you have a supply of flowers for yourself. I think a lot of people right now are talking to me about that flowers are more expensive, and they are because of a lot of different reasons, political and otherwise, and that it's important to plan something for yourself so that you can have some flowers. And so this is tip number 63 from Bloom 365, which you can get on our website, and you can pick your cover and all that stuff. So I'll put a link for that. But creating cutting gardens with annuals, perennials, and even bulb flowers with the intent of cutting the flowers and using them in an arrangement as they come into bloom. I do that. We've talked about this before too.
Mhm.
That's a range plant.
Yes.
That is a range plant.
Mhm.
Is I'm planning ahead to plant things in the garden that I can cut and bring into the house. And I know that there are a lot of people who are gardeners who that's not their intention. They want to see them and let them be out there.
Mhm.
I would say that in some cases, with some types of plants, it can be detrimental if you're not paying attention to pruning while you're also harvesting.
Okay.
So, like, hydrangeas is a really good example. One time I was at P. Allen Smith's, and he had these beautiful, huge pots that were just overflowing with these big, long, wispy hydrangeas, big hydrangeas at the end. And so I went in and I cut them, and he said, "Hey, don't cut them so long because you're cutting away the flowers I'm going to have next year."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, show me.
Mhm.
So he taught me. And so if you're going to cut down, you can only cut down to like one node or maybe two. The hydrangeas that you get that have an 18-inch stem, that plant probably isn't going to produce a hydrangea again. They're going to plant a new plant and let it do that. So if you want your hydrangeas and stuff to continue to have those blooms on them, you need to be cautious when you're doing that. You know,
Okay.
tulips too. What happens is many times if you have pretty colors of tulips, unique and unusual varieties, cutting them off to put them in a vase. I don't always cut all of them. I leave a few there because sometimes it will make them revert
Oh.
to another color, to the original color, which is usually yellow.
Whoa.
You know, so yeah,
Mhm.
so that's kind of interesting too. But I mean,
Yeah.
I always feel like tulips are an investment because you need to kind of plant them all the time, plant them every year so that you have new ones coming on because they do have a lifespan, unless you're
Mm.
going to go in and feed them with blood meal and all that kind of stuff like they do in Holland. They're very attentive. But like in Holland, Michigan, where they have the Tulip Festival, they plant 1 million new bulbs every year. 1
Oh
million.
my gosh, I never realized that.
So,
Yeah.
so they are aware of that tulips have a finite lifespan. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Well, should we get into the episode
Yes,
then?
we shall. Yes,
All
we
right.
shall.
So this is the Garden Contained.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Yonkers Garden Center is in Holland, Michigan.
Okay.
And Dirk is so much fun. I met him originally. I was asked to be a judge for a contest for America the Beautiful. And Holland, Michigan was up for America the Beautiful award for their city. And
Oh.
so they tagged me and Dirk Jonker and another wonderful older gentleman. I don't remember who he was now. Dirk and I made fast friends.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I was like, I was telling him and lamenting to him
Mhm.
that I used to do this event for Campbell's Nursery in Nebraska, and I did it for 30 years in a row.
Mm.
They would grow all these unusual different types of flowers for bedding plants and perennials and annuals in your yard. When I would come back here to Michigan, I couldn't find a garden center that had unusual things like that.
Mm.
And I was lamenting that as we were having coffee at a place called Lamangelo's in Holland, Michigan. He said, we grow all those things. And I was like, well, okay. He's 40 minutes away.
Okay.
So I go there and I buy the unusual things. He said, I can always tell it's you because of your cart.
Unusual things in the cart.
I'm glad that it's the cart and not my hair and my beard. So yeah, that didn't faze him. So that was good.
Yeah. No, it was all about what's in your cart.
But like the eyeball plant or
Mhm.
silk stockings coleus
Mhm.
or, unusual things like that. He also grows passion, big, You can get a big passion plant,
Oh.
passion flower, which won't winter over here. But having a big one to start with, we would put it on the deck and it would grow up over the inside of that of that cage thing back up in there.
Oh.
And because it was bigger to start with. So he has those unique and unusual flowers. And he is I think he's third generation. I think it's third generation.
I think he mentioned that in the episode. Yeah, I think he said third. Yeah.
So he's a good man. And I really and he's funny. He's really, really funny.
You guys had great chemistry. I felt like you were both kind of like, it was a little bit joking back and forth. Like he didn't take himself too seriously, but was still very passionate about what he was talking about.
Right, because I think in the outtakes it says something about, either like, fix your hair. And he said, what about my hair? And I said, they don't care about your hair. They're not paid they're paid to care about my hair. They're not paid to care about your hair. But yeah, and he was a sport. He wore the flower crown.
Yeah.
He mixed a cocktail with me and he was like, oh, sure, we can have a cocktail. And I wondered because, Holland is traditionally Dutch Reformed people. My 100-year-old lady that's been on our show, that's Nick's Grandma Boersma, she didn't want to be on the show because I had cocktails on it.
Oh, really?
She's like, I don't want to be on your show. There's cocktails on there. No.
Whoa,
it's the devil's workshop. And I'm just like, yes, it is. So when Dirk was like, come on, let's have one at 10 o'clock in the morning, I was like, all right, great, good. You're all right. You're on my team. That's all great. So yeah.
Jay, I wanted to ask, was it about to storm when you were filming any of this?
No, probably typical Michigan cloudiness. Now, here's a fact. Meteorologists travel from all over the world to come to Grand Rapids or the West Michigan area because we can have all sorts of cloud formations. We can have like all the cloud formations in like a 24-hour period. So it's a really big deal for them to come here and learn all about the clouds. So we are technically, they tell us, I don't know. There's probably people in Portland and Seattle that would argue, but they tell us that we're cloudier than those locations.
Really? Wow.
And we get a lot of moss and lichen on all of our stuff because we're traditionally wet and cloudy. So, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah. It's all just because it comes off of Lake Michigan, all the moisture?
Yeah, it's created because of the microclimate that we have here, which gives us that extra bit of dampness. We don't get a lot of rain. I mean, we get a lot of snow. But and I shouldn't say that. The other day we got 2.5 inches of rain in one evening. That's a lot for us. So I mean, and it was hard, and it was, and it hailed at the same time, and that clogged all the sewers, and then there was flooding, and so it was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I think it's a very interesting weather pattern where we live in West Michigan.
So interesting.
So the only place we had ever stormed on us, no, there's two places. Was Hamilton Dahlia's farm. When we went there the first time, we had to cancel it because it was such a horrific storm.
Oh gosh.
And so but we did take some pictures before it stormed. Then when we went to see Idlewild Farm, it was raining that day. And they're in a tin-roofed building. And we were just like, no, we're going to go with it because they were so elated that it was raining.
Oh, okay.
They were just like, it's raining. And their people were still cutting in the rain, and they were out there, and they were all just like, it's raining, and it's summer, and it's great, and we need water for our flowers. And so, I mean, so from that aspect. But no, it wasn't. The interesting thing about Jonker's garden, and it's so picturesque. It's one of the most beautiful garden centers I've ever been to.
It looked beautiful, yeah.
It's built under these giant pine trees. So that's probably why it looked stormy.
Oh, okay.
Because there's these giant pine trees that are over that offer the shade, the natural shade to the shaded part, and then they have an area over on the other side where it's sunny. So they have them parked in both areas. And you go over these little wooden bridges to get over like a pond that's there. It's lovely.
Cool.
It really is lovely. If you're ever in Holland, Michigan, go to Jonker's Garden Center and ask for Dirk. He might not be there. He might be doing something else exciting. Everybody who works there is so smart and so knowledgeable. And I really love it. And they do know me, which is very nice, but I've also watched they're just as nice to everybody.
Oh,
they're
that's
nice
cool.
to everyone. So I mean, yeah, it's great.
I liked there was like a quick shot of like an old truck out front. Like it looked like maybe it was like the truck that had been there for all generations or something. It just looked like a really cool, and it was painted, I think, with their logo or something. It looked really cool.
And they use it every day.
Oh, really? Oh, so it's operational.
It's operational. Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I think that's very much a generational flower person thing.
Oh, yeah.
We had my grandpa's Model T. We had my grandpa's tractor, his first John Deere tractor that he got that you had to crank to start. We had all those things. And then we had a barn that burned down, and they were all inside.
Oh.
And I was not there. I did not burn it down.
No.
It's not responsible. Wasn't there. Wasn't home. It was when I was going to school I was going to a flower trade school in Colorado when it happened. My mom was like, "Oh, the barn's burning down."
Yeah.
And that was before social media or anything. So it was like, okay.
What can you do? You're in
Yeah, what are
another
you gonna
place.
do? I can't even see it. No,
Yeah.
burning down. When it comes to flowers and increased vase life, I choose Chrysal Flower Food and have enjoyed the benefits for years, professionally and personally. My favorite product is Chrysal Professional 3. This formula feeds the flowers and helps control growth of bacteria in the vase. If you want to try Chrysal Flower Food products, visit their website, chrysalflowerfood.com. Look for the link in the podcast description. Use our special discount code uBloom10. That's the letter U, Bloom, 10, for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through uBloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit the lifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support.
The next segment was the party flowers from the garden.
Yeah.
So this is where you talked about the thrillers, the fillers, and the spillers.
So that is a garden center term for how to fill a container garden for your yard. But it's also applicable to flower arrangements, certainly. Okay. And so when you talk about the thriller, let's talk about the thriller first. That's the central vertical axis of the arrangement or the container. And so it's the thrilling thing, it's the exciting thing, it's the big thing, it's the, that you are going to put in the middle of that bouquet. As a kid, my dad always put dracaenas in the middle of a container garden because a dracaena would grow up with their little fine leaves that would spill out, look kind of like a fountain almost.
Okay.
But there's so many things that you can use as the thriller in the center, but it's like the big focal area, but it also gives the central vertical axis to the arrangement.
Okay.
Then I like to go to spillers next because spillers then you plant at the side of the container or you have them on the edge of the flower arrangement and they spill out of the container. And typically with container gardens, they're the cascading thing. So they're like licorice is a great one. Any type of vinca vine or any type of trailing thing. Thyme in an herb garden will be a spiller because it's going to get long and lengthy and pour over the sides. So what that does is it kind of attaches your visual application to go follow the thriller down and then follow the spiller onto the pavement.
Okay.
And many times they can come down off the pavement, and then when they hit the pavement, they'll start to grow back up.
Oh, wow.
So it really can be very dynamic, and I think that that's a really, really important thing. So then fillers. Okay. This is the one place I don't mind using the term filler. I hate the term filler for flowers. When somebody said, oh, this is a filler flower, you have just degraded that flower to be nothing. It's just a filler. And I always say this. The appropriate place to use filler is for hot dogs. Because we all know what hot dogs are made out of. Everything else and some filler. And that's what goes into a hot dog. Okay. Except when you're buying them from Crestwick or from Crestwick Farms, they don't use fillers. Okay. My friends at Crestwick, I'm going to make sure I clarify that. They use prime beef and make these fabulous hot dogs that are incredible. And that's where we get it. Our hot dogs. But anyway, when you call a flower a filler, it's an accent flower. You're going to accent other flowers. But filler in this case means it's filling in between the spiller and the thriller. Okay. So it's the plant that would go into between. You wouldn't want it to be a spiller or a trailer. And you wouldn't want it to be something that's going to grow up and overshadow your thriller. So you do want it to fill in that area. So it's probably like something that is going to stay bushy. A poptunia. Poptunias are a really strong burst of color. They stay in a nice little clustered globe.
Okay.
Are they called potunias? Potunias? I think they're called potunias, not poptunias.
Okay.
Potunias, because they're made for being in a pot.
Okay.
Now, there are cascading petunias, too, which would make great spillers, okay? So you're gonna choose those things when you're making them. And I was always accused of my friends at Campbell's Nursery. I would go in the wintertime and do a Christmas show, but I would go in the summertime and do an annual show. And I would plant these planters, and people would be like, well, they're beautiful, but you use so much stuff in them. And I'm like, because I want it to look good now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to look good 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it's more expensive. Absolutely. Positively. Don't disagree in any way, shape, or form. I put more things in there. My thing is that the people at Campbell's would always say, this is a J pot, and so it should get morning sun. And I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, you've mixed shade and I will do that because again, I've done shows here for like our local Flowerland and stuff where people were like, I would never put those things together. And I said, then don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Well, they're all not going to perform the same way. Nope. But they look really pretty right now.
Right.
And I'm like, do whatever you want. It's not about, again, it's not about being right or wrong. It's what do you like?
Mm-hmm.
I could plant a whole pot full of pink flowers and you would say, I hate pink. Then don't plant a pink container.
Right.
I happen to do it because they were and I will go around a garden center and look at what is doing well and look at then I will formulate my color palette plan from that.
Okay.
But yeah, so fillers, when we had the Flower Power Challenge in season 1, Rick Weist worked at a garden center and he said, I went for the spiller, thriller, filler, look in my bouquet. Exactly. It translates that way as well. And it certainly could translate to painting or to drawing or, anything that you're going to create you want to have it be cohesive or you want to have it be pleasant to your eye. I think that's important. Those containers are wicker containers that came from Syndicate Sales. I don't know if they still sell them. I believe they do because I think I saw them the other day. But
cool.
Everybody asks where I got them. It was really funny because they're a candle holder.
Oh, yeah. They have like the handle over the top and
yeah, you can put the candle down inside and then you could hang them in a tree or you could set them on a table. And I just thought they were really pretty to be hanging with flower arrangements in them. Many times I will grab something that is made for a candle and use it as a vase.
Okay.
Because if it's a candle, it means it's going to be waterproof on the inside. It's because they don't want the wax to leak out. So if it can accommodate a candle, it can accommodate flowers too.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
That's pretty helpful.
Yeah. Well, so then we got to meet Dr. Adam. So this was so cool.
Is this the episode where you ask me about the rules about blurring things out, or is that coming up?
Oh, that's coming up.
Okay. I'm just going to say that. So I will just say this for now. So foreshadowing for another podcast. But when Dr. Adam came, he walked in a shirt that had a giant my Nike swoosh on it.
Oh no.
That was all the way across his chest. And I said, we can't wear that. And he said, I didn't bring anything else. And I said, I have shirts in the back. And so Dr. Adam is wearing my shirt.
Oh, so that's your shirt.
It's my shirt that he has on. And it was I'm trying to think what I used to wear back then. I had an elephant on it. So I can't, but that was, so whatever. But
that's funny.
Yeah. So, okay. I love Dr. Adam.
Oh,
he is my hero. I tell everyone he is my general practitioner because I see him every other week.
Oh, great.
I have a maintenance thing. I'm on Medicare and it pays for that, which is wonderful. He just keeps my spine aligned. And he was one of the people who, when he saw me, said, there's weird damage to the bottom of your spine. Did you carry heavy things as a child? And I said, yeah, coal.
Yep. Shoveling
coal. And he was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah. And so the way I met him, I was going to his dad. And so the way I found the chiropractic thing was when Kelly's dad was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, they had suggested he go to a chiropractor and that might help him feel a little bit better. And he said, I don't know if I want to go. And I said, well, here's the deal. Go. And if you don't think it does any good, then you don't have to go anymore. Just try it and see. And he was like, okay. And so then he said, I really like these guys. These guys are
Oh,
really nice. Well, and
great.
his dad went to school with Kelly's brother.
Okay.
And so they knew him from being in school with Paul and Tisha. We knew him. Well, then I suffered a frozen shoulder. I was trying to reach for distilled water in the Meijer grocery store, and it was way too far on the back shelf, and I hyperextended my shoulder, and then the scar tissue formed, and I got a frozen shoulder, and I couldn't move it. I literally couldn't bring up my arm or put it down or anything like that. And
Oh,
so
gosh.
I was seeing Dr. V, his dad. He was about, and so Van Gessel is his last name. They call him Dr. V and Dr. Adam. Okay,
Oh.
so Dr. V was, and he said, I know your family. I mean, I know your family and everything. I can fix this, but I don't want to hurt you. And I said, what's our choices? And he said, I either hurt you or you have surgery. And I was like, then you need to hurt me. And he said, I can't hurt you. Adam was walking by and he said, who needs to be hurt? I'll hurt somebody. And he popped in and he was like, I can fix this. And I was like, let's do it. So he manipulated it, and he used this gun that is it's an impulse gun. So it fires lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of impressions. He's an activator chiropractor and not a cracking. So he uses this plunger device that takes care of all this, right? And so that's what he does. This plunger, he uses it in certain areas, and it will release the gases around certain muscles and allow them to shift back naturally into place.
Oh, fascinating.
It's very non-invasive. It's amazing. I have recommended him. And then he also lasered my shoulder, which also made my shoulder get better faster. And he said, you really respond well to laser. And I was like, great. But I can move my arm today. I can move my arms today because of Dr. Adam.
Wow.
So I was like, do you want to be on the show? And he's like, sure. So I have to tell you one more thing about the laser. Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
I got shingles. Okay. And I got them under my arm, and they were so painful, I couldn't even put a shirt on. And everybody who's had shingles is saying, yes, I completely understand. I realize. And they're so hard to get rid of. Dr. Adam said to me, would you think I'm crazy if I say, let's laser your shingles? And I was like, no. And he said, all right. So he lasered my shingles. And he said, I've seen some people who are talking about doing this and that it works. He lasered my shingles. They immediately stopped hurting. Immediately.
Really?
Immediately. And they were gone in 3 weeks.
Wow. That's incredible.
It was incredible. And I tell my general practitioner, other doctors, this story, and they're like, well, that shouldn't work. Well, you know what? I don't care what you think.
Right.
Should or shouldn't work. I experienced what did work.
Right.
So never mind, and that's my whole thing is I feel like, Dr. Adam is my conduit, and he loves that I eat healthy. He wants me to eat healthy. He's always asking, he's like prepping me for, something I'm going to have. And I love him. He's amazing and he's wonderful and he's really funny.
Oh, he seemed like fun. Yeah.
We both like to watch the Body Bazaar shows, where the people have the Body Bazaar. It's on TLC. It's Body Bazaar on TLC, and it's just started a new season now. And it's incredible. But it's all these people with these crazy, crazy, crazy deformities or sicknesses or things like that. We just love it. I mean, it's just like, this is amazing to see how these people overcome this stuff is a while. But anyway, yeah. So I did love that he talked about that your head's like, and I don't know if he said it in this show, but he says it a lot to me. It's a bowling ball. There's a bowling ball on top of your spine. And we got to make sure that it's okay, that your spine's okay, because it's holding up a bowling ball all day, every day.
Yeah.
That is the same, very much like Thriller, filler, spiller. It's kind of that same aspect. And so, using that big protea in that vase is kind of like your head.
Right.
And you have to be able to support it and have great support underneath it. And I think that that's also the concept of what he does, and I'll call him if I slip or fall. So here's another thing that I love about Doctor. If you slip or fall, you generally will throw your back out, and then your body will try and work around the damage that you did, and it can create something that will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I've experienced that firsthand, Jay. When I was in high school, I was a gymnast. I landed on my head off of the high bar doing a dismount and messed my neck up. It was fine for years and years and years. And then maybe 15 years after the injury, I started getting these really bad migraines. And it was from the injury that I had all those years ago, and everything didn't really heal up correctly. And then something kind of re aggravated it. And so I went to a chiropractor for 6 months, getting adjustments and going through all this PT to get everything like working again. And now I haven't had a migraine since. I've been totally
Amazing.
healed. And yeah. But it was something I ignored like back when it happened. And it can affect you all those years later.
I think it is wild because I gave myself whiplash by jumping into a pool once.
Oh no.
And I didn't have it checked and didn't have it taken care of. And then he could see that damage and he has helped with that too. So I have a lot of stuff with my C4 and C7 because of that whiplash from jumping in a pool.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, so people poo-poo chiropractic. And I'm going to tell you this, I am not a manipulative chiropractor endorser. I am an activator, which is they use this tool. Dr. Adam has never twisted my neck or turned my neck or cracked my back. He doesn't do any of that stuff. He uses this activator. And it's a very gentle manipulation that he can do for my entire life.
That's great.
You know, I also know somebody, just as a side note, who went to a manipulative chiropractor and they broke their neck.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then that person died. I mean, I was just like,
Oh.
okay, wow.
Gosh.
So, I mean, you can look up activator chiropractors in your area. I'll put that in the links for you too. But then you can see, and it will tell you who used an activator as opposed to a manipulator. But yeah, Dr. Adam's a treat. He's good.
Okay. Well, we're getting kind of close on time, Jay.
So I will do speed round.
Okay. Speed round.
The pineapple basil cocktail with Dirk.
Yes.
All the ingredients were there at their place.
Yeah. How cool.
I would not drink this drink because pineapple and amaretto give me heartburn instantly. And that happened that day. And I was just like, okay, I gotta eat something like a piece of toast or something. And then I'll be okay. But it's a delicious, if it's a delicious drink. So I should tell you that it was just me that just felt funny about it. But yeah, we did the windowsill garden. Just painting chalkboard paint on a simple glass jar will allow you to write on the outside with chalk and you can line something up. Now, interestingly enough, it was funny to look at this because we got new windows last year and we no longer have windowsills in our house. And that makes me sad. When they put in new windows, they install them in the wall instead of kind of on the outside of the wall, so you don't have a windowsill anymore. But there's that. Geraniums. We used to grow like 5,000 geraniums at our greenhouses. So I really have an affinity for geraniums, and I really have an affinity for the variegated one that is in this segment. There's a little bit of B-roll about it, but that's the one that Craig grows for me every year, and I love to use in my arrangements. Tips in the garden containers. Thriller in the middle, spillage on the sides, fillers. Let's see. All that's true. Yes, I do plant them very dense because I want them to be pretty right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you have patience or if you want to, you don't have to do them that full, but they will grow over a period of time and they will fill in. But sometimes, like last year, I had an infestation of white fly on the deck. I had to pull out everything, and then by then everybody was sold out of stuff. So then those were just sat there empty all winter or all summer, and that made me sad. So I mean, I do plant them full sometimes because I want stuff to be working right away too. I do put perennials in almost all of my containers so then I can move them to the yard at the end of the year.
Okay.
I had a purple sage this year and I had thyme this year that I moved to the herb part of the garden. I have other pieces and parts that I put around ferns. A lot of ferns are also perennials too. So if you use them in a shade garden, container garden, then you can move them to your yard. Perennials cost a little bit more, but moving them into your yard afterwards prolongs your investment for years and years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of a great way, and here's the other thing. When you go to your local independent garden center, talk to them because Dirk can tell me all the secrets about my climate right here.
Oh, right.
Your independent garden center can tell you about all of the things that are good for you in your climate. Buying plants sometimes at mass big box stores, they get all the plants for all their stores. So they might get, Nandina is the one I always talk about. Mass market stores or big box stores always have Nandina in our area. It will not winter over in Michigan. It is a southern flower. If you plant it, they have them here because they sign up with the Nandina grower to put Nandina in all their stores.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can get something, like you'll see a pineapple there sometime, or you'll see ginger sometimes. Those things don't winter over in Michigan. So you have to be a little careful. And that's why I feel like the independent local garden center is a really good place for you to make that connection. So, I think it's just really good for you to do it. So ask questions because they can tell you, they can give you hints, they can give you help. And they might tell you, you're putting way too many flowers in this pot.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, I know, but it has to be pretty tomorrow because we're going to film it.
Right.
So they're just like, the other thing about overcrowding sometimes too, overcrowding will make things bloom faster. And so sometimes if you don't put enough plants in a pot, it won't get root bound until like August. And then that's when your blooms start to come on. So also know that sometimes root bound items will bloom better.
Okay.
Again, hobbyist, expert about cut flowers, hobbyist about plants. That's me. So, yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for the great outline on this. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Take care.
Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Pohl. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it with a friend to help us spread the joy, one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us. And hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out uBloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find Behind the Bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.